Good day, everyone, and welcome to today's market technical breakdown for the time period of 22nd of December to the 26th of December. My name is Anthony Phillips Njoko, the founder of 10x Digital Lane, where everyone who has a knowledge gap in digital trading can get the right knowledge, get the right guidance, also get the right tools to enable them trade and earn from the financial market profitably. So today we'll be going over these pairs on the right: Euro USD, GBP USD, GBP JPY, XAU USD, BTC USDT, ETH USDT, and Solana USDT. Okay, like you guys all know, before we forecast for the future, we also go through the previous trades we have called out for last week. Okay, and you see how it played out. Okay, then after that, we'll also share with you guys some amazing opportunities for you traders that don't have funding, how you can get an instant funded account, a $1,000 instant funded account. And all these details will be dropped in the descriptions for you as well. The links will be dropped in the description as well. So we want you guys to pay close attention and as well follow us on this channel. Okay, subscribe to us on this channel, like this video and share it. So last week on Euro USD, the market was here on a Monday. Okay, and we said that the market is either going to go sell down towards this trend because the trend is your friend, and you can see the market has been creating higher highs and higher lows, okay, which is more of a bullish structure. And we said either market goes towards this trend, respects it and continues buying, or it breaks above this high, more like forming an ascending triangle, breaks above it and then continues buying. So what did market do on Tuesday? On Tuesday it broke, okay, more like a fake out. Those who are impulsive traders must have bought, and then the market came back down again and then went towards this trend line. So our focus for last week for these sales, which is to buy the dollar against risky asset like euro, was accurate. So we took buys on USD JPY and we made a lot of profits. So this forecast now has been completed. This down forecast has been completed. So let us update these charts now. Let's go to the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, we mark out the previous week high and previous week low. This is the previous week high over here. This is the previous week low over here. Then we go to the daily time frame. On daily time frame, mark out the daily demand and daily supply. Over here is the daily supply we see over here. Also, this is the daily demand I see over here. And also this is another daily demand I see over here. Okay, so based on what we can see as well, this is now forming as a daily demand as well. So if the market is to respect it, but now it has not fully formed as a daily demand. So the current daily demand I export out for is this particular daily demand over here. Okay, so I should pull this all the way here. Then on the 4 hours time frame, mark out the 4 hours demand and the 4 hours supply. So this is the 4 hours demand I export over here. And this 4 hours supply still holds. So from what I can see in this market, my forecast for this week is more of buys for euro to respect this trend and buy towards this top, heading towards this 4 hour supply. If that doesn't work, it breaks this low, we'll wait for this retest and sell. So these are the two forecasts I see for euro USD. But due to that, this particular market now is respecting this trend. It's respecting this trend. So I anticipate a buy to the upside from this level. Then the next on the list is GBP USD. So for GBP USD, we called out a trade live here with you guys on that Monday. You said we were going to buy GBP USD on Monday, place the pending order. We shared this signal live. Okay, and I also sent the signal to the VIP group. I did not send it to the general group. Or did I? I think I did. I sent it to the general group as well for this buy limit trade. So the trade played out perfectly on Tuesday. We hit our overall take profit. We were risking 20 pips to make 55 pips. So this was accurate. So we delete this, and this was our forecast. More like what we see on euro now. You see, GPUSD was on this trend. There was a touch, then the third touch. You see, the market was respecting this third touch to the upside. Okay, so we say that when the market comes back to this zone, we buy. That's the same thing now we see on Euro USD. This is the same thing we see on Euro USD. So basically on Euro USD, if I see a retest, little pullback retest, we will take a buy. Okay, I'm not going to go into details breaking this down now. So let's move forward. So this was accurate. This was accurate over here, and this also was accurate. This was accurate, and also let's update the chart for this week. Let's update the chart for this week. We go to the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, we mark out the previous week high and the previous week low. We mark out the previous week high over here and the previous week low over here. Then after we mark out the previous week high and previous week low over here, then we go to the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, we mark out the daily supply and the daily demand. Okay, we mark out daily supply and daily demand. So roughly what I can see that the market has actually respected this level quite some time. There is a touch here, 1, 2, 3 touches. This is now more like the fourth touch. This is a daily supply. Very, very okay. So with this in mind now, let's mark out the daily demand as well. So for the daily demand, I see the demand way down here. Okay, I see daily demand all the way down here. This is daily demand. I also see another day. I see a daily supply all the way up here as well. I see a daily supply all the way up here. This is a daily supply I see over here. But due to the current one I look at is this particular one here. So with this in mind now, let's go to the 4 hours time frame. So in 4 hours time frame, this trend has been broken last week. You see, this trend has been broken last week. So after we took our buys, the market now broke this trend officially on Wednesday. So this is a retest, and this possible sell is still possible for GBP/USD. So let's adjust this. Let's adjust this. Terrific. So now, since we already saw the previous week high and previous week low, and last week created a new high, which this is it. Okay, and after this new high was created, the market also took this low that created that new high. Okay, so basically from what I can see from GBP/USD, the view is more of this path to sell from this level. Okay, sell from this level. But on second view, if the market should break this high and retest, then we go for the buys for GBP/USD. So we're watching out for sales for GBP/USD instead. Okay, because of the current structure the market is actually giving to us. But if it breaks this high instead, this supply zone we see over here, and at the retest of it, that's when we're now going for the GBP/USD buy. Okay, so that's just it mainly. Okay, terrific. Then we go to the GPJPY. So GPJPY, our forecast was extremely wrong, okay, and I realized later on why. Over here was our forecast. We said that the market had this trend at the break, the retest, then we continue the sales. But no, the market had other plans and it bought massively. So with that in mind, although we didn't get in on this trade for the sell, I told you guys if I see a sell opportunity, I call it out, but I never saw the sell opportunity. I never called it out. Okay, so we didn't actually lose any money on this. It was more like a forecast that we didn't actually follow up through because it did not give us our entry criteria. So we go to the weekly time frame. Let's update this chart. So on weekly time frame, mark out the previous week high. This is the previous week high we spot over here. Okay, so this is the previous week high. And this is the previous week low. Okay, then after that we go to the daily time frame. On daily time frame, we mark out the daily demand, daily supply. But before I mark the daily demand, daily supply, this is not valid anymore. And if you look left, Japanese yen started hiking rates last week. They hiked their rates to about 0.75. It increased by 0.5 to 0.75. Right, that is 25 basis point hike. So if you look closely, there is a level here, which is more like a weekly validation point all the way back 2008. So we'll now go to the daily time frame. Let's see if we can spot out that level on the daily time frame back 2008 on trading view. Okay, great. So we're able to spot out that level on this level. So this is more like the daily supply zone. Okay, this is more like daily supply zone. Although what we see in the market is not something that has happened before, by rates are being hiked by the Japanese yen, but they still count. Okay, terrific. So we go to this point. Then we go to on the daily time frame as well. We have a daily demand. Okay, so on daily time frame, this is our daily demand over here. Then we go to the 4 hours time frame. On the 4 hours time frame, we mark out the 4 hours demand. Okay. Great. Then 4 time frame, mark out 4 hours demand and the 4 hours supply. We can mark out the 4 hours supply right now. So literally what I see on GPJPY is more of a patience game. We need the market to come all the way down here to give us more of a buy for us to buy. Although it has broke the previous week high, this is more of an overbought position and you cannot just jump in. Then the next on the list is XAUSD, which is good. And if you can see, last week we called out a signal live here on XAUSD, which is over here, and it played out on Monday. That same Monday played out exactly as planned. Okay, so this was where we were on Monday, and we said we want to sell XAUSD. The stop loss was 100 pips. The target was I think 300 pips. It was 300 pips. Okay, so we sold and we made 1:3 live here. Okay, we told you guys to hold. So basically, what I can see on gold now is because of the market has actually fulfilled this criteria we planned out for last week. We said if it breaks this size zone, we expect the retest and then the buy. So let us just update this chart for this week. Okay, so on the weekly time frame, let's mark out the previous week high and previous week low. Let's mark out the previous week high and previous week low. This is previous week high, and this is previous week low. Great. Then on daily time frame, we mark out what we see now. This is more of an all-time high. Goes on an all-time high. So we don't really have a daily supply zone, but we have a daily demand zone, which is this reoptimization zone. So we expect market to retest. After a retest, the next major target is psychological level of 4,600. Okay, probably before even 4,600, we might touch 4,500. Okay, psychological levels. Okay, that market could aim for 4,500. even before 4,500, we already touched 4,400. Okay, so once this retest is completed, we'll be looking out for buy opportunities for gold, and when we see that, we'll be calling out that trade. Okay, so this is literally what I see right now for XAU USD. And let's not forget that this also aligns properly. So if it also aligns with this trend, with the trend is your friend, so we don't actually trade against the trend. So if it aligns with this trend at this level, we'll likely enter and then head for the upper target. Then next on the list is Bitcoin. Okay, so BTC USDT. We're already in on Bitcoin for a buy. You can remember on Monday, the market was here on Monday, and we told you guys we wanted the market to come down towards this level. Okay, once it comes towards this, our green, ash, and yellow line level, okay, we're getting in for the buys. We placed a buy on 87,000. Okay, we placed a buy on 87,000, but later on within the week, we saw that the market was having this whipsaw, buys and sell, whipsaw. So we told you guys that the market we entered at 87,000 was priced a very high price. That we would close that trade. We closed that trade on break even and entered at a lesser price, which is 86,500. Then we placed our stop loss at 83,500 and our take profit at 94,000. So this trade is still running and running very, very well. So we'll just keep holding the trade. Bitcoin trade is still buys, okay? Nothing more, okay? Just buys to hit our target profit. We're already in on trade because for liquidity in the forex market is going to drop down, okay? It's going to drop down this week, and then the crypto market, synthetic market would take up. Okay, so traders will continue trading crypto and synthetic. So I've started seeing buying setups for Bitcoin. I've started seeing buy setups for Repo. Okay, so I'll be adding Repo on our next week technical analysis breakdown. Okay, and we'll just continue from there. So for Ethereum, we place this buy level signal for Ethereum. Okay, we place this buy level signal for Ethereum. Well, the market rejected that and we lost on this trade, but we are in on Bitcoin. So our trade signal for Ethereum was wrong. Let us now update this chart. Let's do weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, we mark out the previous week high and previous week low. Okay, this is the previous week high over here and the previous week low. And this is the previous week low over here. Then we go to the daily time frame. On daily time frame, we mark out the daily demand and the daily supply. Over here is the daily demand we see over here on Ethereum. And the daily supply is all the way up here. We're very far. Okay. Or even up here. So this is the primary daily supply. So what I see literally for Ethereum is since the market has already started creating bullish structure, any little pullback we get on Ethereum, we will likely get in for the buys again. Any little pullback we get on Ethereum again, we'll likely get in. Okay. So that's what I see. Then we'll be aiming for this high minimum. This is like 3,300. We're aiming for this high minimum because I see that there is this supply zone over here. So any little pullback we get, we're getting for 3,300 minimum. So for Solana, our forecast for last week is still on point. It's still in play. Okay, so Solana, we said that last week the market was ranging. We're not interested to buy or sell. That we wanted the market to break out from a level and then give us a direction. So the market broke out from this lower level last week. And then we said that once it wants to retest, it's going to wait for a while. So I'm seeing more of sales for Solana from where it is right now because of the breakout it applied last week, and it is going well with our last week forecast. So what I just have to do is update the previous week high and previous week low. Okay, and I'm then going to call out this trade for everyone because I think it is still at the entry price. The Solana trade is still at the entry price. You get so. This is the previous week high and previous week low over here. Then daily time frame. On daily time frame, This daily demand holds over here. This daily demand holds. This has already been broken. Okay, so it's not valid anymore. Then the daily supply. To mark our daily supply, the daily supply should be all the way up here. I need to mark our daily supply and not think much of the daily demand anymore. Okay. Okay, so the daily supply is all the way here. Okay, so if for any reason Solana chooses to buy more, we'll have to sell from this level. But from here, because of this break I see over here, that's why we're taking the sales on Solana, because of this break I see over here. So if it still breaks below here, we continue with the sell, but this sell is valid. Okay. So thank you so much for watching to this point. My name is Anthony Phillips Njoko, and I wish you a profitable trading week. So watch out for the signals. We're dropping out signals for Euro USD buy, and also the Bitcoin trade, we're holding it. We're watching out for gold and also Solana. So have a profitable trading week, guys. My system is low, so I have to end this stream here. I think I'll join with my phone in case you guys have any questions. Let me join with my phone instead and then disconnect with my system.
Good day, sir. Good day, sir.